Buy this bundle for $15, sis. Your money, my miniatures. Which way, right?
Yeah. Buy miniatures from the Goblin King.
Shop now. Buy this bundle for $15, sis. Your money, my miniatures. Which way, right?
Yeah. Buy miniatures from the Goblin King.
Shop now.
Hello everyone, can you guys hear me? Today we're presenting our newest fantasy bundle, Goblin Mines, and starting a new journey. With me today I have Luca.
Hey guys, I'm Luca.
One of our resident D&D lore nerds.
I'm gonna get this off my head because it's not gonna stay. My head's way too big.
Yes, and I also have with me Márcia, who's going to be painting the Goblin Scoundrel bust. Say hello, Márcia. Yeah, I heard her saying hello. I hope you guys heard her as well. I'm not sure. We had some audio issues with Márcia, but we're gonna continue the live stream anyway. We don't want to delay it too much. I just noticed I didn't introduce myself. I haven't done that in a while. I'm Tiago, in case you don't know me, and I'm the studio's community manager. So yeah, let's start. There's a lot of stuff to go through today. There's a lot of really cool stuff to get to, and I don't want to delay it. So let us know if you guys can hear us well. The camera seems to be out of focus. Or maybe it's an internet. Yeah. People can't hear Márcia, but that's fine. We're just gonna move on with the live stream. Otherwise, we're gonna troubleshooting for like another hour. Márcia can hear us, so if there's any question that you guys want to ask her, just ask, and then we're gonna translate it for you guys.
Perfect.
It seems to be better now. Okay, so let's start because we have so much to get through. It is a new cycle, a new campaign that we are starting, a new season. So we ended up with the last season ended up with us going to the Abyss. It was a crazy trip with a lot of like really high level monsters, and now we decided to go back a little bit to something a little more, let's say, feasible for beginner adventures.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going back to pretty much everyone's first monster.
Yes, and also to Loot's very first bundle. Our very first bundle was Goblin Trouble. It was like the beginning of Loot and the beginning of any adventure. And it's been 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years actually. And we're going back to that team. And we thought, like, people had been asking for this for a while, and we thought, yeah, it's time to go back and do more goblins. It's always useful to have more and more.
There are never too many goblins for a D&D
Never too many goblins. Like, yeah, you need the full horde, right? Okay, so let's start with our first hero for this bundle. And I believe our first goblinoid hero character, which is going to be the Devastator Scourge. So let's show the concept art. So the Devastator Scourge is our Hobgoblin War Mage. It is our first Hobgoblin hero character. Although we do like monstrous races that can be used as hero characters, we have done that before. I think it's kind of the first time where we really lean into a monstrous race as a hero and like give it the spotlight. This concept art was done by Viviane Souza, and it's absolutely incredible. The Devastators they appeared in 5th edition in Polo's Guide to Monsters. There's a whole section on goblinoids there, and how the hobgoblins are the leaders of the horde, and how the only magic they value is like conjuration magic and magic that is not conjuration, evocation magic. Yeah, magic that is useful in the battlefield. Right?
Well, he's a war mage after all. Like,
yes,
that's what they train their mages to do, pretty much.
Yes, I think the mages in a medieval fantasy battlefield are kind of like the artillery.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they are the demolition experts at the artillery. They are the heavy guns.
When you can blow up like 40 feet of ground with like a 3rd level spell, you have to be kind of the artillery.
Yeah, you gotta fireball the enemy formation and break that up.
Yeah.
Before you you go in with your ground troops, right? So yeah, this is Devastator Scorch, a really cool concept for a warlock or a sorcerer, or like in any spellcaster class. Really, it could work as a druid. It's very versatile in that way. Uh,
Kind of reminds me of the characters from Onwards. I don't think that was a direct inspiration for it, but it has kind of that beginning of magic, kind of very identifiable staff kind of feel to it.
yeah. And one of the things that it's one of the things like hero characters tend to be a little bit more presentable. I think we decided to go with a hobgoblin character. One of the reasons is they don't look as silly. Like the style that we decided to go for a goblin is kind of like it's very very ugly and gross and disgusting, and they don't really translate that well into a hero character. But a hobgoblin is closer to a human, so it's easier to do a little bit closer as well to something like a furbolg in addition, right? Kind of like the same, like white nose, those kind of long ears, those kind of features. So yeah, it can work like that as well. So yeah, let's take a look at the actual sculpt. And this one was done by Samuel Salis. And there are a lot of like really cool details in that mini. He's kept like the way the cloak right is flowing with the movement. Like he's preparing to cast a spell. He's got the spell book like hanging in front of him with the leather straps. It's a little bit like not exactly, but a little bit like Caleb from Critical Role,
With
right?
the spell book
With the
holster.
holsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta carry if you're gonna be an adventurer, you gotta and you're a wizard, you gotta carry your spellbook around.
You can't lose it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, man, I'm kind of an a-hole DM if you're like don't take care of your spellbook, like the villains are gonna get it and they're gonna take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your arcane focus is the easiest way to get a spellcaster out of battle.
Yes.
Carry a second one.
Yes, absolutely. So amazing detail on this one, but I think we're gonna be able to see even more of the detail that Samuel was able to bring it in the bust version of this mini. So if we could exchange the 75 for the bust version real quick.
Also, let's wait until the sculpt is on the table, but there's something different about this bundle's busts. Like
Yes,
the base
yes,
of the
absolutely.
busts.
So we're doing a little bit of an experiment. So you guys let us know how much you like it, or if you like it at all. If you would like to see us doing more of these, we did a special bust plinth, right? So the bust base, for those who don't know, is called a plinth. It's very hard for me to pronounce, but I think I got it. And it's a special one. So it's a special Goblin one. And this may be something that we do going forwards, but it's going to really depend on your answer to this. If you guys really like this, it's a little bit more work for us. So it's not a guarantee, but it's a very cool thing, and those are compatible with previous bundles, right? With previous busts. At least ever since we changed our bust style to something more of like a 3/4 bust instead of like the regular style. So yeah, let us know if you like the plinth, the new plinth, and if you do, we're gonna keep doing them. And each bundle would have a special plinth just for that bundle. So yeah, it makes the bust a little bit more interesting, right? The plinth is not just gonna be something plain.
It kind of gives context to the whole bust.
Yeah. The sometimes to have a more plain base is better, right? You want to focus on the character, but sometimes you want a little bit of something different. And the regular base is still going to be available in every bundle. It is available in the welcome pack. But yeah, this one is awesome. And this one, I believe it was sculpted, actually sculpted, who sculpted this face? Was it Pavanelli? I think it was.
No.
I'm not sure who sculpted the. If someone from the team could confirm this information for us. Uh,
Well,
but yeah,
good to describe a little bit if they can't see it in camera. It's kind of like this goblinoid kind of bundle of things like skulls and cleavers and
yeah, goblins are known for being kind of
hoarding, kind of.
yeah, they hoard, but they don't just hoard like valuable and shiny things. They are hoarders in the like true sense of the word.
I
Like,
can
they hoard
relate.
everything.
I can relate. When I
Yeah.
see something that's different shape or something like that, I like it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, and the master looks amazing in the bust as well. He has some real character in that face. He has a real nice face. Can we give a close up on his face, please? There we go. Just a second, you guys. Yeah, there we go. Like the way his who how do what do you call that? A top knot or a man bun?
He doesn't mean
Yeah,
with a bun.
Luca ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a real nice hairstyle.
Yeah, it looks
His
good.
hair is I'm gonna bait myself here. Like I don't know what people are like the slang for it these days. Are people still saying like stuff like on fleek? I don't
Yeah.
I don't think so anymore. But you know, it's on point. Maybe I don't know. I haven't been around young people, so yeah, absolutely amazing scope. Absolutely amazing art. So thank you, Viviani and Samuel. So let's move on to our next hero now, because we have a lot of stuff to get through. Our next hero is not a goblin, and it's not a goblinoid. And you guys may be wondering, why didn't you guys just do why didn't you guys just go full goblin? And there's a reason for that. Although a goblin bundle is something people have been asking for a long time, uh, some people are interested in other things. So this kind of our this hero and our next hero are kind of like our cheeseburger characters. They kind of work. They would work in almost any bundle, and they could work as heroes in almost any setting. So that's kind of the reason why we did them.
And when we get to the goblin characters, you're gonna see they can be used as PCs pretty much all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this one is a human. So it's Jade Song or Human Monk. We have done a couple of monks before. It's not one of the most, let's say, popular classes that we did, but it is still like always really nice to take a swing at it. It's a little bit of a different style than like classic medieval fantasy, right? It's not just like full armor and everything. And this concept art, which we're gonna show now, second, there we go. This concept art was done by Bruno Freitas, and it's just like there's a couple like every month we try to do we try to of course like one of our main things is to do things that can be used by players and DMs, like things that are ready for the game. But we never forget about the painters, and this mini in particular, we thought would be a really good one for painters.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of textures,
It
a lot
has
of
different textures, varied structures, and objects. It's full of little like bits and bobs, and it's gonna be fun to paint.
yes, a lot of different details, a striking pose, right? And it's kind of like I would say, you know, it's kind of your standard monk in Luke's style. We have done a couple of monks before. We did a male human monk. We did a turtle folk monk, and now we're doing a female human monk. So so like we're building up our monk library, if you will. So yeah, it's just like a really interesting character. I think the it reminds me a little bit of the uh, it reminds me a little bit actually of Diablo, but not the Diablo monk, the Diablo like wizard that has like she has like a similar appearance, a similar style, and like the flowing robes, and it's like the this Asian inspired style, right? Sometimes uh the it's you know it's like Shaolin inspired, but it's also very fantasy and very a little bit over the top and magical, you know. So
And I gotta comment, the hairstyling for the heroes in this bundle is
yeah,
superb. Perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, Will Andrade. So Will Andrade was the one that sculpted the, the new bust basis. So thank you so much, Will. I for some reason have his little cheat sheet. So let's check out the bust for this character. Oh, actually, yeah. Let's show the sculpt first. This 75 millimeter. And this one was done by Rafael Sui.
He has a very Beauregard kind of attitude for her pose, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is one of those. I think her backstory as well. This is one of those characters that was like very single-minded in like how to solve her problems, you know. And it's one of the and I've used this before for one of my characters that like philosophy of it's something that I said that maybe my grandma. Violence. If it ain't solving the problem, you just ain't using enough of it. Right? I used this for a paladin character before, but it works really well for any martial character. And she used to be one of these characters. Like she when she found the monastery, the monks were like, yeah, like you really need to like focus that aggression into something useful.
First anger
Right.
management, then training.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very common, fairly common trope for D&D characters and for characters. Just have like you need to center yourself and direct all of that negative energy into something more positive. Let's say, and again, she has a lot of really cool details on her. And there's a lot of different textures that you guys can explore. There's uh, skin and hair and cloth and like this was our way of giving painters a way to like really work out those muscles, right? Those creative muscles. So yeah, among Danielle also saying among to represent the astral self version of the monk, which is awesome. Yeah, that is something I have recently suggested on a bundle on one of our uh, bundle meetings. It hasn't gone through yet, but I haven't stopped trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I think the Astral Self Monk, like visually, it would be just stunning. But we're gonna get there. Trust me, we're gonna get there. Okay, so let's check out the bus now. And the bus, like, really. Oh, okay. So yeah, let's try. I'm gonna try to change the. Let's do a little test here, guys. I'm gonna try to change the microphone setting here, just so it doesn't. Okay, if you guys can hear me well, just let me know. If not, we're gonna. If not, we're gonna test things out. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me well. Hello, testing. 1, 2, testing. So yeah, let me know. I'm gonna continue going like this for a minute. Yeah, the bundle has been released. You guys can hear well, okay. Oh, good, you're fine. Okay, Okay, people are saying we're sounding good, so let's continue.
Awesome.
So yeah, let's check out the bust, and Rafael Sui does some amazing work for us. And this is one of those characters that like, ooh, there's just so much. As Luca said, all those bits and bobs and like the bead collar and the not exactly armor, but the cloth pauldrons. Like, it's not a plain monk, right? It's not just what's the name of the? It's not just like a monk wearing a robe,
Yeah.
right?
It has the gourds, it has like the rings and the staff, it has like
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this that is going to make it, I'm gonna say, a little bit more interesting for painters than to just do the face and then paint the clothes in just like a couple of colors. There's a lot going on for this character.
And if you're playing them, you can get a lot of visual inspiration for like also a hoarder monk, kind of like anything she finds, she kind of adds to the staff, adds to like her ensemble pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's I don't know if it's Buddhist, but there's I'm gonna say it's a monk saying of some kind about not carrying stuff with you. This is not that kind of monk.
Nope.
This is the kind of monk that has a mission and it's gonna carry stuff with her everywhere, and everything she finds, she's gonna get attached to it. Maybe with prejudice. So yeah, let's move on to our third and last hero of this bundle. And okay, if the inspiration for this one was pretty clear for a lot of people as soon as we released the concept art, is our hunter. He doesn't even have a true name. And I think that's part of the fun of this character. We haven't even really declared if it's a he or a she or like whatever, right?
And their lore is kind of very first edition D&D. It's just going in there and killing things.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. A good goblin. Just let me pick this up here. A good goblin is a dead goblin kind of feel. Like D&D has evolved in some ways in that not some monsters, some of the classic D&D monsters are no longer considered like just cannon fodder. They are humanoids, and they may have a soul, they may have a heart,
They definitely have a family.
yeah, they may have feelings or something, but I don't really care. Like, goblins are goblins. You should be allowed to just wipe out a couple of goblin villages, no issues. They are kind of like the goblins and kobolds. They are kind of made to be throwaway villains, right? And it needs to be, once in a while, it needs to be okay for the players to commit, murder. Like, it needs to be okay for the players to be murder hobos once in a while.
Yeah.
Because it really drives home, like, when you if every death matters, kind of none of them matter. So you make it so a lot of them don't matter, and the couple of deaths that do matter really matter. But this is the character, this is the headhunter. The concept art is by Beto Lima. This is like the perfect paladin or fighter, a classic go out there and beat them up. And one of the inspirations is something like Goblin Slayer, the very, very popular and very, very gruesome manga and anime. But yeah, it's not the only one. This kind of character, this kind of heavily armored fighter, it's always popular for us. It's always very popular when we do it. So it was a good bundle for us to do it. Like, we only have a couple of like actually human characters in this bundle, and everything else is a goblinoid. So the Headhunter and Jade Song are kind of our way of they're kind of our more normal cheeseburger characters. But yeah, let's check out the Sculpt by Rafael Sui again.
I mean, this doesn't have hair, but the plumage on the helmet.
Yeah, the plumage on the helmet, the fur on the cloak, and again, like it is like just a guy in armor, but
Yeah.
there's so much going on. There's like the adventurer's belt, the shield, the cloak, with the fur, and the plume in the helmet, and like there's just so much stuff, and it is something that we try to do. We try to avoid just doing, a plain character that is just a guy in armor. When we do them, we try to make them interesting to paint and to interesting characters to have. And I think this is one of those guys that, look, a lot of our characters end up being left-handed. This one is one of them. Some people have pointed out to us that, like, what's the percentage of left-handed people in like real life? It's fairly low. We're closer to something like 50-50,
Pretty much.
right-handed, left-handed. But it's not something that we're going for or anything. It just kind of happens. But yeah, this character is absolutely great. The cloak. I'm a sucker for a good cloak, good cape.
And it's kind of a good cloak with belt, and
Yeah.
it's the texture of it is kind of very imponent.
Yeah, don't trust Edna mode. Having a cloak or a cape once in a while is worth a gruesome accidental death. Like the style is worth it.
It's a very stylish character.
This is a very, very stylish character.
Even though he has like 2 goblin heads on his belt, he's still just impeccable pretty much. And I love the armor design. It's very detailed, and I love the helmet with the classic kind of medieval pointy face kind of to it.
Yes, absolutely. And a couple of people are saying in the chat, like, praise the sun. Yeah, it does remind me a little bit of like one of those Soulsborne armors, right? It's very much one of those
Even the shield kind of lends to a sun god.
Yeah, yes. Bonus action cloak of billowing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People are already printing the bundle. This is this is great. We're always like, once in a while, as soon as we release the bundle, we are really impressed in like how fast you guys get to printing some of those the minis. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. Like, once we release the bundle, sometimes like before we get here to the live stream, there's already people posting pictures of the printed miniatures, and we're like, how? Really? Like, tell us.
Midnight hits and they're already printing pretty much.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Okay, so let's check out the bust for this character. And again, like, for this character specifically, the new bust base is so good. It's so good.
Kind of even works to fill in the space of the goblin heads that the actual
yes. Yeah, this character does have on the 75 and on the 32, he does have like a couple of heads hanging from his belt, right? For the bust, because we do the cut at the waist, the heads are kind of gone. But there are a couple of skulls in the bust base, so everything works out in the end. A good goblin is a dead goblin, or a goblin that never left its cave. I think it's the idea. And the plumage on the helmet is just so good. Just like, just because you're gonna like commit atrocious acts of violence doesn't mean you can't look good while doing it.
In fact, Homelander and the boys kind of proves that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think like I woke up this morning and I watched the newest episode of The Boys. Yeah, I'm not gonna give spoilers, don't worry. But yeah, I like it. I like gore. Like,
Yeah.
sue me. And if I put my players through a lot of like horrible, very painful and gory and blood-filled situations, they know what they signed up for. It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's it for the heroes for today, but we have so much more to get through. So let's check out the boss for this bundle.
Okay.
And this is not the kind of boss that is like the very, very powerful character that's gonna take out the players on his own. This is the kind of guy that is really, really fun and to play as a DM. And yeah, he's gonna be the guy that's commanding the horde.
He feels like the cannon fodder for bosses. Like he's the first boss. You don't care your players kill too fast. He's just there
this is the first level boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Slugor, the Goblin King.
And I love this mini. It's so detailed.
Yeah, and yeah, and there's just so much going on here.
Mm-hmm.
The concept art is by Beto Lima. And like this is one character, but it's actually like I would say it's almost cool because they are goblins. The little goblins on the bottom that are carrying the chair are like they're not full characters, but they're not non-characters either. So this is like 3.5 characters maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if
not
anything,
quite 5.
if anything, they do have personality because like
Yeah.
the two goblins on his right side, one is kind of like stepping on the chain from the other, and he's almost falling. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is the guy. There's a couple of inspirations for this guy. Like a goblin leader is something that appears in media everywhere. There was a Goblin King in the Hobbit. There are Goblin Kings like in D&D and Warcraft. Like a goblin that ate his fill and it's overgrown. There's even something, and I think the Goblin Slayer specifically takes a really kind of a really interesting approach to it. That it's a hobgoblin is just a goblin that was allowed to live past its infancy. Like the older a goblin gets, and the larger he gets, and they just keep growing, and that's a really, really interesting approach to it. I think the guys from WebDM also mentioned something like this.
I think it was for giants.
Oh,
The giants keep growing just with age instead of.
No, but I think they mentioned this specifically for
goblinoids?
goblins, for goblinoids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this character has so much going on for him. So it's one of those characters that doesn't really work on his own. He needs his little lackeys, the guys that are carrying him around. We didn't bother giving those guys names, but yeah, this is Luger, the Goblin King, and one of the reasons we like the reason we called him Slugger is that we like to think he's like a distant cousin of Slig from the or 6-month loyalty reward. So yeah, Slig has got some fairly powerful
Family members.
family
and
members.
acquaintances. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the sculpt. And this sculpt was done by I have it here as Pedro Young and Fabian Cardoso. I think both of them worked on the sculpt. I'm not sure which one worked on the Goblin King and which one worked on the little Goblinoids, but he's sitting on his little on the throne with like the adventurers' heads hanging right above him.
And axe kind of to the side, just
which is like
within
part
reach.
of the throne, right? Like it's a makeshift throne, but it's a throne. He likes to fancy himself a king, and he has himself a crown, a really nice looking crown, which we're gonna get to later. This crown is the prop item for this bundle, and it's just absolutely amazing. There's just so much detail. Can we get like a close on Slugor and like the and his face and everything? Yeah. Just look at that. We may have to talk about our something with our artists. I don't think it's problematic yet, but like we've been putting nipple rings in a lot of characters. Like a character takes his shirt off, we put a nipple ring on that. It's jewelry. It's just something like to give a little bit of sass to
Yeah.
if we just do a barbarian with like his specs out, it's not as interesting for an artist to paint as you just give a little loop of gold
A
there.
bit of fun to pull, right?
Yeah.
Like last bundle, we had a demon with 6. So
Yes.
yeah.
Just absolutely amazing. And all of the detail, all of like the weapons and the details. And he's drinking, I believe it's like a scope,
A skull or a chalice, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Which is also a classic thing. Like this is, we call him a goblin, and I think he's classified as a goblin in the character sheet as well. It is a pretty big goblin. It would be like a mutant goblin. It is not something you would see every day. He's definitely like a goblin leader, and he's a slouch. He's a let's say a slob, but he's not dumb by any means. You need some cunning to keep all of the goblins in line,
Mhm.
right?
Especially for this bundle because we're also dealing a little bit with hobgoblins and bugbears.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
So
kind of a mischievous leader, if anything.
yes, absolutely. So let's move on to our next character,
Mm-hmm.
the Goblin Shaman. And the Goblin Shaman, like Goblin spellcasters, usually goblins don't have like formal spellcaster training, and they don't usually get to have clerics because Maglubiet, I believe is the name, Maglubiet,
Yeah.
the god of the goblins, doesn't really care about his followers all that much, so he's not out there just like granting spells to his followers.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up with stuff like shamans or like wild magic spellcasters,
Mhm.
right? This character specifically could work as a player character as well. It could be a sorcerer or a druid. I think it would work like whenever we do a shaman, it's code work for like non-player character druid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the idea. They either use the force of the spirits or something like that.
But I think it would work well for a player character.
It would work well as a player character. It could also be like the leader, an alternative leader for a goblin tribe.
Yeah.
The goblins like tend to really respect powerful spellcasters.
This one even has like a pet familiar rat like on his staff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the concept art, I don't know if I mentioned this, was done by Cleidiane Fernandes,
Mhm.
and the sculpt, which we're gonna show now. No, yeah, I got it. The sculpt was done by Victor Araújo. Actually, Victor de Paula. I think it's the proper. So yeah, this is the Goblin Shaman. Amazing detail. I think the painters are also gonna have a lot of fun with this one. Anytime we do a miniature with like a inherent light source, you guys tend to really like it. So characters that are like holding flames or spell effects, stuff like that is always nice. As always, with the flowing cloak. Really kind of brings the characters together. We do a lot of awesome cloaks. I think we've been nailing cloaks for a while now, and I think it's one of those things that a couple of months ago we got it. We not only got it right, we got the cloaks really right, and then we're like, yeah, we should keep doing this.
This works.
Yeah, a cloak or a cape really can really elevate a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I'm just checking the chat here. Okay, someone is telling me that we don't kink shame. It's rodent of anger, and I don't understand what I said.
Because of the nipple rings.
Oh
probably.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I was like, did I say something weird? I was so worried for an instant. But yeah, you know, it's not necessarily a kink. It could just be a stylistic choice.
Yeah, especially for goblins and such.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe you have a ring of protection that you just don't want to wear on your finger or
That's a good
something like
idea,
that.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely customize a lot of magic items that are like rings or necklaces and use it as other type of jewelry, as piercings and stuff. Uh, it would be like really interesting to see. Like, you don't tell you, a player casts detect magic at the end of the fight, and he sees like all of these piercings on a captured NPC or something, and then they just start ripping it out like in that Punisher movie. Just so gross. Just
Yeah.
so, because that's the kind of player I am. Violence, man. If it ain't solving the problem,
Do more of it.
yeah.
Double down.
So yeah, an amazing sculpt. Another one, another like really cool one. I think we do have it like the 32 millimeter painted here, and it's just like the for such small characters, and it is something that we have to say for goblins. They are small, right? And this bundle has a lot of small characters, and even for the small characters.
There's
And
quite a
on,
bit
and
of
on
GP.
32 mil, they are like really small. You can still see a lot of their expression and their personality comes through the sculpt, which is it's really a feat of our artists. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to our next character, which is going to be the Bugbear Assassin. And the Bugbear Assassin, the concept art you guys are seeing right now, was done by Mari Morgan
And it feels like a really classic rendition of
of the Bugbears. Yes, we have done a couple of Bugbears before. We did one in our first bundle, Goblin Trouble, and we did one in the Crimson Sand Arena. But they were more like brutes, like what you like. When a layman sees someone that hasn't played D&D sees a bugbear, they think of something like that. Of a character that is like big and strong and brutish, right? But bugbears in D&D lore are way more stealthy than that. They are the assassins of the goblinoid hordes.
Which, like, the reach and the size kind of lends well to
Yeah.
surprising you.
Yeah, the out of the fur, it's supposed to make it's like the feathers of an owl is supposed to make them more silent, right? So they don't make the noises they make when they move are silent. I'm sorry, folks. There's some really funny stuff going on here right now, as people are bending over backwards to go underneath the cameras and pick some stuff up. Or like our little set goblins are at work here trying to fix some stuff, and it's really funny. So yeah, this is like the we have this now is the classic rendition of a bugbear, which I think it's due time that we did something like this. So let's check out the sculpt. This one again by Victor de Paula. And again, this as a player character or this as an NPC, this as an enemy, like just this bundle is just full of very versatile minis. People ask us to do like a bundle full of that is just dwarves or that is just elves or that is just this race or that race. Goblinoids is one of the few themes that we actually kind of feel comfortable doing something like that. Because they are so versatile. They can be used as either player characters, but in most situations they are going to be used as enemies, right? So they are way more versatile for people's games than if we just did a bundle of dwarfs, for instance, or a bundle full of gnomes or stuff like that.
Especially in 5th edition with the current trend to like make stat blocks for races for absolutely anything in the game.
Yes.
So yeah.
Bugbears, I think they showed up as a playable race in Volos. I think all of the Goblinoid races did. They have been changed since, and I think basically what they did was they removed the negative effects. I'm not sure if I like that particular design decision, but they have been moving into something of making the races mostly an aesthetic choice. Which it's fine. It's something that eventually people end up doing with homebrew. But I do like the
give and take of
stats. I do like the min-maxing aspect once in a while of D&D, of just taking a character and taking, I don't know, an orc and taking like max bonus to strength and a downside to intelligence, because I just want to make a really cool barbarian character or something like that, right? So yeah, Bugbears are a really interesting character race, both as a player or as an NPC, as an enemy. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this particular character. Let's move on to our next character, our Hobgoblin Berserker.
Which is kind of weird to hear from a Hobgoblin.
Yes, this one's kind of a outside of like the regular field for a Hobgoblin. Hobgoblins are usually like very martial oriented, and they tend to be lawful. I think the breakdown is something like goblins tend to be chaotic evil and hobgoblins tend to be lawful evil, something like that.
They're more orderly than anything than actual lawful. Like
but I think that's kind of the idea. It's like lawful evil tends to be like they are little tyrants, right?
Exactly.
They are tyrannic, and whenever there's a goblinoid horde and there are hobgoblins around, they tend to be the leaders, and they tend to be the guys with like the something close to a Bushido code or like a Klingon code of honor, something like that. But this guy is the guy that kind of like, yeah, that's not for me. So this guy would be something like a Hobgoblin Barbarian, which is not something you see every day, but it is a really cool concept to play as a character or to have as like cannon fodder or as a frontline fighter.
And it's very evocative for a player character. It's kind of like a hobgoblin that broke rank and started living in the woods and raging at people, which is very fun.
Yes, absolutely. This concept art was done by Viviane Souza. And the sculpt, which we're going to show to you guys now, there, got it, was done by Danilo Chagas. And again, let's see if we have...
Right
where
here.
is... Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and hobgoblins, like the goblinoids, fortunately, they tend to be color-coded. Goblins come in a couple of colors, like they tend to be either green or yellow. Sometimes they have...
Variations in green, pretty much.
Yeah. The hobgoblins tend to have reddish tones of color, and I believe the bugbears tend to be brown or like dark yellow.
Fur.
Yeah, and mostly fur. Mostly furry. Yeah. It is something that we have been aware of. There are some people that have been asking for more and more furry characters, like anthropomorphic animals and stuff like that. We do them once in a while. We're not gonna do a full furry bundle. Like don't even get me started. But this guy is kind of like, this is just so cool. Like this guy is kind of like I would say he's kind of like the Conan of hobgoblins. Like there's just so much detail going on in his mini, and like his hairstyle, again, the hairstyle, the characters that do have hair in this bundle have some pretty awesome hairstyles.
The other ones are just completely bald, just to balance it out.
Yes. So yeah, it's one of those things. If you want to make a character playable as a as a player character, you kind of need to give it like a cool haircut,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, thank you so much, Vivian and Danilo, for this amazing mini. So let's move on to our next character. And this one has a little bit of a backstory to him. This one it's the Goblin Blacksmith, right? And I think the idea of this one is that it was a little bit it was inspired a little bit by the Goblin Blacksmith in the
Hellboy.
second Hellboy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the blacksmith that while he was building the Golden Army, the sparks that flew out took out his legs, and
This doesn't seem as
And
gracious as
maimed-
that guy.
yeah, but it maimed him kind of horribly, and I think it's one of those things that goblins tend to be very very crafty, but they also tend to be not very careful about it. We did a goblin once in the Toe Collector's bundle, which was just it was the Goblin Grenadier, I think. He had a bunch of it was a goblin that worked with gunpowder and stuff. This goblin is probably something similar. He's messing with he has had a lot of accidents throughout his life, but he just keeps on trucking because goblins are just like that. They will not stop. You may think of them as cannon fodder, but they are of all the cannon fodder out there, they are probably some of the more resilient types. So this guy is very very. He has a couple of prostheses, and he's got his little. I would call it. I would even make this one in the game. I would make it like a magical wheelchair, so it could work like a mobility scooter or something. But yeah, and this one is another character that just has a lot of little details on him, so you guys can have a lot of fun. The concept art was done by Mari Morgan, and the sculpt, which we're gonna show now, was done by Luis Silveira. So just absolutely amazing work. A lot of really really cool details, like the right arm being a prosthetic. I think there are rules now for prosthetic limbs and the magical prosthetic
Yeah, in
limbs.
Tasha's they did add magic.
Yeah, I think they have it in Tasha's, but I think they had it in what was it? I think there was an unearthed arcana about it, and they put it in Theros as well, I believe. Yeah, I think there's something in there. So you lose a couple of arms or a couple of legs. The good news is if you get a couple of magic limbs to replace them, it's just one attunement slot. So it's fine. It's probably fine. It's gonna be fine.
Probably.
Yeah, and you can deck it out with a lot of weapons, like FCG from the newest season of Critical Role does. He just has a lot of replaceable has a hook thrower and a buzz saw and just a lot of really really cool attachments to his arm. And I think that's a great idea. It could be a little bit like that kind of engineering kobold, that has the skunk thrower or whatever it is. Yeah,
it has various gadgets for the hand, and it kind of looks like he can work on that. He has a full workbench in this little wheelchair. Yeah.
Yeah, people are saying Corvath is saying in chat, a player character that is like a goblin artificer would work very very well for this character. But yeah, as an NPC or as a player character, this goblin works very very well. I think the whole bundle has a lot of this. Where is it? We do have this one painted as well.
Right there.
Yes, it's here. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just gonna take we have all of the 32 millimeter minis painted here with us. This is going to be a video coming out later this month. The kind of the tutorial video. It's going to be how to paint a goblin horde. And basically every goblin in this bundle was painted for that video. It's already on the editing bay, and it's gonna be out. I don't know if soon, but it's gonna be out this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next week maybe. People are telling me. So yeah, all the glorious, because there are some details that are so small here, and the work that Márcia and Luisa do painting these things, like the really small details on the minis, always astounds me. So yeah, let's move on to our next character, which is going to be the Goblin Warrior. Again, another character that can be used as either an NPC or a player character. But this one, I think it leans a little bit more towards
A player character.
a player character.
Yeah.
Because goblins, when they are cannon fodder, they are not usually given like expensive armor.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this guy just killed like a gnome or a halfling adventurer or something.
Maybe the headhunter got in in kind of a bit of trouble there. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if the headhunter armor would fit this little guy.
I mean, I don't think a goblin would much care about.
Yeah, but this guy, like, I think the concept art does a really wonderful job of representing this character. There's like the little shield with the arrows on it, which is something we always love to do. And the concept art was done by Mari Morgan again. But something that it's in the sculpt, which like really elevates this character to another level. It's again the cloak, right? The cape thing, and the sculpt was done by Luis Silveira. Let's transition into it now, and you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. So when you look at this character from the front, it's very much like the concept art. But then you see the cloak and the way it's flowing, and you think like, oh, this is a hero. This is not just cannon fodder. This is some guy that matters, right?
He's going places.
And if he's not a hero, he's at least like a mid-level boss, right? One of those bosses that you end up fighting in Diablo, but that doesn't have like a cutscene attached to him.
Yeah.
You just walk into an arena and he's there. Maybe he's a goblin commander and he's leading the actual cannon fodder into battle, but he himself wants to survive. Maybe to be a Goblin King one day, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Good to take inspiration from Shadows of Mordor, the game.
Yeah,
he was kind of like one of those up and coming lieutenants of the Dark Hordes.
Yes. Yeah, like goblins and goblinoids, and like that kind of like really. Our style of goblin is not the same style of goblin of like D&D 5th edition, because they made the goblins a little bit cuter, I would say, with like the wide noses and like the really big heads, like disproportionately big, and like very angular features. Our goblins tend to be a little bit more classic goblins, and they are like uglier and like warty and like just kind of disgusting. A little bit like a gremlin after you feed them after midnight, or throw water on them or something. So yeah, it's the kind of goblin that you would see in a lot of media, right? In stuff like video games or movies. It's the kind of goblin that you think of when you think of goblins. And I think this guy perfectly encapsulates that. But also the next character, which is the Goblin Archer.
Yeah, and this is eternally useful in every game. Like,
yes, yeah, like
a very classic mini.
Yeah, get a couple of Goblin Archers, or maybe a couple of goblins that have something like a crossbow or something. Make them a little bit more mobile. Give them a dash as a bonus action, and they're just gonna make life for low-level players hell. Because mobility is very important in D&D, and if you don't have if you don't have like your own rogue dashing as a bonus action to catch up to these guys, you're gonna have a hell of a time being pelted by arrows from every single direction.
Mm-hmm.
But this character also works very well as like a Goblin Ranger or a Goblin Rogue or something. The concept art was done by Mariana de Brais. And the sculpt, which we're gonna show now, was done by Fabian Cardoso. And again, this character is one of the characters that does have some hair. And you know, it's one of those ways that we can differentiate between like what is like a male goblin and a female goblin. Just put some hair on it, and it's like, yeah, because they're so small, it's hard to differentiate in other ways. You can't really make it, and we do have a more realistic style, so we can't like overly pronounce, let's say, other characteristics, if you get my meaning. So you know, you make the male characters bald, and female characters, you give them some hair, and it's a pretty good shorthand. But yeah, this character, I think the sculpt is absolutely amazing. Again, a lot of detail for such a small character. Unfortunately, we can't really do the bowstring. It doesn't really work for resin 3D,
right?
or for 3D printing in general, really. Especially for like very very small characters, like small characters for 32 mil. But still,
It could be easy enough to add it with actual string, though.
What did you say?
You could probably add it with some
Yeah,
string, though.
if you could probably add it, like probably for the 75 mil is going to be easier. But you can definitely add your own string to it. It's going to be easier than do it in resin. We have done the string for a couple of characters in the past, but unfortunately, like, it was very very easy to break accidentally, so that's why we stopped doing it. But you know, another amazing character. Definitely, like, well, I think I go straight for Goblin Rogue, because let's face it, rogues in 5th edition, they are better than rangers.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Rangers have gotten better, I would say, lately. The later subclasses for rangers are actually like very very interesting, and some of them have like very very interesting and actually good abilities. But rogues are easier to play and it's easier to understand their strengths and their weaknesses, and they tend to end up being a stronger class whenever you play them. But yeah, it could work as either a rogue or a ranger for you guys. So let's go to our next character, which is the Goblin Scoundrel.
This one kind of lends well for being a BC because of the personality that it
Yes,
kind of
absolutely.
has.
Yeah, this one is actually the 4th character in this bundle, and the last one to have a bust as well. And I think the reason is going to be pretty clear why when you look at the concept art here.
He's scheming something.
Yeah. Just like your classic rogue. It doesn't matter that he's a goblin and maybe you have a hard time getting around the city. This guy is like your classic rogue. He even if you take away like the pointy ears and the elongated nose or something, this is a rogue. You just look at his face. It's a rogue. It's a scoundrel. It's it's rebel scum maybe. And you know, the carrying the daggers, being in this really really striking pose, like getting ready to do some mischief, is just really really good. The concept art for this one was done by Viviane Souza. And let's check out the sculpt by Leandro Pavanelli. Yeah, and this one, you know, is just absolutely beautiful. Leandro Pavanelli, for those of you who don't know, he is not just one of our best 3D artists. He's also the 3D team lead for our fantasy subscription. So he's always making, even though sometimes he doesn't have a sculpt in a bundle, he's the one that's making sure that all of the models are like consistent and good, and he's giving feedback to the artists, and he's making sure you guys get like the best possible product in the end. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to him, Leandro Pavanelli, and also to Robson Barros, our 3D team lead for our sci-fi subscription. Once in a while, their work goes like unmentioned, because it's a little bit of invisible work. It's one of those things that when they are doing things right, you guys never hear of them, but yeah, there's a reason they were chosen for the job they have, and it's because they are very, very good at it. And whenever Pavanelli has a chance to work out his creative muscles and do something like this for us, it's always a big pleasure. So thank you so much. And yeah, let's check out all of the detail that he was able. Oh, actually, yeah, it's the bust that Márcia is painting. So let's check that out. Let's see how Márcia is doing on that one. Yeah, just absolutely amazing work. A lot of character. It reminds me a little bit of both the Green Goblin, but also there's a game, and I don't remember the name of the game.
Styx. I think I know
It's
what you're talking
Styx.
about.
Yes, it's that Styx game where you play a goblin, a goblin rogue.
I could not take that reference off my head when I saw this character. Even the pose, like the hunched back over something.
Yeah, and it's like the classic goblin. This goblin reminds me a little bit of like the
It's the perfect goblin player character.
Yeah, like Irish stories about living bread and milk out for fairies, right? This is the kind of goblin that would show up in one of those stories.
He's kind of the goblin that steals your baby and changes out for like a fairy kind of a creature to grow in your home. But yeah, this is a very fantastical. Even the cap, like the clothing in him, is very fantastical and lends well to that.
Yeah, and it's an absolutely like Pavanelli really brought out all of the best parts of the concept art by Viviani on this one. So yeah, you guys are gonna keep seeing the Márcia keep painting this mini on my right side here. But yeah, let's move on to our next character. And this one is the drum rolls, please. The looting goblin.
Yeah, this is a very fun one.
Yeah, this is a very fun one. We had a little bit of fun with the naming of this one as well. Wink, wink. I think it's pretty obvious. We may have a bias for this goblin, for this particular goblin.
It's kind of one of those, that's the name of the movie kind of moments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the name of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of same cap, very expressive face, and a gigantic.
Yeah, like this is not like, let's say this is not a very practical character.
Yes.
But it's a very, very fun character, especially if you want to do a diorama with him.
Yeah.
Or if you just,
It's a very classic trope kind of fantasy.
Yeah, the goblins that show up and steal things in the night.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's like the little gnomes stealing socks or something. Like when you miss a sock, it's when you take your clothes out of the dryer and you're missing like half of your socks, but it's just like the right foot of every single sock is not there for some reason. It was either a gnome or a goblin, and I would put my money on the goblins.
With a bag of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're a big bad evil guy in a campaign, you can't exactly hire normal folk to move your treasure. So that's the kind of people that you have to move your treasure.
Yeah, this is what it looks like when you have a small character with a +4 or +5 strength score, something like that. Which I would always
to see somebody play that as a player character though.
Like it's always not. It's always like so fun. So it's so incongruous, right? like the really small character that is the strongest character in the party.
Yeah.
Everyone else, like this guy decided to play like a gnome barbarian or a
Watch out for the kneecaps.
or a goblin fighter or something.
Yeah.
And everyone else is playing like rogues or rangers and wizards. And you're like, oh, okay, I think I'm the guy like opening out, kicking down out the doors.
Exactly. He's not carrying his weight in gold. That's at least 4 or 5 times his weight.
Much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
I think this one was also a little bit inspired by those really annoying like treasure goblins from Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, they do what goblins do. They show up, they steal a bunch of treasure, and then they just go away through a portal if you don't get them fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
So just annoying little suckers. So let's see here. The concept art for this character was done by Mariana Livrais, and the sculpt was done by Victor de Paula. And this is another one that we did. Like, it is not a very practical character to have, you know, but it is a very fun character for painters, right?
Mm-hmm.
People always love to paint little scenes and vignettes with characters like this, and the gold and the treasure is always fun to paint as well. So, you know, it's something a little bit more geared towards people who like to do dioramas and that like to paint. And yeah, this is it for the looting goblin. Okay, so next up we have the new bog. And the new bog, for those who don't know the lore about this one, it's a new bog is just goblin spelled backwards. The lore for this one's like really weird. When the goblins technically only have one god right now, they don't have like a pantheon of gods as other D&D races have, and that's because Maglubiet came on and it's actually like all of the goblinoid races, and they didn't used to be related to each other in any way. It's just that Maglubiet came and then he killed the gods of all of the goblinoid races, and he became the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the trickster god of goblins, which was like shattered into his soul was shattered into a million pieces. And when one of those pieces finds its way into a goblin camp, into a goblin horde, that's how you get a new bog. Which is kind of a very annoying court jester that is just going to go around causing trouble in the war camp. And, you know, once in a while, the hordes will even make stuff like they will make a goblin into a jester and call it a new bog just to appease the trickster god so they don't have to deal with an actual new bog. So, you know, it's just a fun character. But it can also be used as something like a goblin bard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a goblin orator bard. Was that the name of the...
I'm pretty sure from the one from Theros, right?
The one from Theros,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is like a very cool school for a bard. You don't have to be the guy that's just, you know, carrying instruments around. You can just be really good at making speeches.
I mean, if you want to go for something more creepy, though, he kind of is holding a skull, and that whole paraphernalia kind of lends well to a death god,
Yeah.
a cleric.
Yeah.
I think it would work well.
Yeah, I think he's not holding the skull he's holding is because he's like a thespian,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
He's probably doing a very bad rendition of Hamlet or something.
If you put 100
very
goblins,
annoying.
if you put 100
So, yeah.
goblins with typewriters in a room.
The concept art for this one was done by Mariana Livrais,
Mm-hmm.
and the sculpt was done by Douglas Martins. Jesus, we still have so much to get through.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's get through it. And again, amazing sculpt as always by our artists. They are always like outdoing themselves. This one has a lot of details, like I especially like the way the dangly bits from the hat like curl around and give it like a really nice silhouette. It's always very important for us to have striking silhouettes for the characters, so you can recognize them from afar. And I think this one's a good example of a character. Like even if you just see his shadow, you know what character this is.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Okay, let's move on because we still have a lot to get through. The next one is the Troll-Blooded Goblin.
Mhm.
And this one is it's a loot original, let's say. And would you like to expand a little bit, Luca, on
I
the...
would love to. Every once in a while, we try to like get something different from what's usual in D&D and try to make something that's unique in and of itself. And this one was kind of created to be this suffering goblin, kind of based on Grendel from Beowulf. Like with Troll Blood, he's kind of used as this powerful weapon by the goblins, but he still kind of suffers a little bit and is kind of used as just the cannon fodder that comes back, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this particular goblin is like... He has a very... Like, goblins go through a lot. This is a goblin that goes through a lot and survives, and then goes through a lot again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I think from the concept art, a lot of people didn't realize it at the time when we released it. We released it. But this is a huge goblin, which is a weird thing to say. But it is enormous. And actually, if we could pick up one of the other like regular sized goblins, just to give people an idea of scale. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this concept art was done by Cleidiane Fernandes, and the sculpt, which we're going to show in just a bit while we set things up a little bit, was done by Renato Roa.
The lore for this one, by the way, is very tragic. Because like in the stat block for like the lore for this creature, when they get to 30 feet, the body just can't hold it.
It's
like it keeps growing with time.
Yeah, it just keeps growing, and it's not like it's one of those cases like, you know, it happened to me. I had a growth spurt as a teenager, but for this guy, it just keeps happening.
Yeah,
and like your whole body hurts, but this guy's whole body is just pain, right? And he's mistreated by even the other goblins, and it doesn't matter that he's bigger than all of the others. But yeah, and he is huge, as in enormous. Look at that when he's compared to the other characters. And you know, this particular like Troll-Blooded Goblin, the 75mm is basically a statue of a goblin, right? It's just so big, so enormous. And both Cleidiane and Renato really were able to capture like the suffering and the pain. And he has like all those whipping scars along his back, and all those pustules and boils and tumors along his body. It's just such a wretched and like pitiful character, right?
Even for goblins, like
Even for goblins.
Yeah.
Even for goblins. Let's see here.
kind of feels like he'd be contained by the other ones, even though because of the size, because of the fire vulnerability from throws. Like he's kind of used as an actual weapon by the goblins just because of that control they have over him.
Yeah, it's not nice, man. It's not
No.
it's not nice at all.
It doesn't seem to be good.
I think the first time we printed this mini, actually there was a little bit of an accident, and like the fingers didn't print right,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that just stayed for some reason. I think one of his fingers is actually missing. Like one of the fingers on his right hand, yeah, is still missing. And I'm not sure if that was the case, but originally, I think it was just a printing accident. And if it wasn't, I'm good. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep telling that story because it's a fun story. So yeah, he's actually missing a finger. Like, ooh, such a wretched poor creature.
Yeah.
Uh,
That block.
he does have
that
a stat
guy,
block. Yeah, he does have a stat block.
Like every mini we show here has a stat block
Has a stat
in the magazine that we also release with the bundle.
Pity the fool, wrote in the Avengers saying. Okay, so let's move on to our next character.
Just kind of a folklore kind of goblin. He's kind of different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of different. It doesn't show up all that often. What was the adventure where one of these showed up? There was one. Was it? I think it was Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Maybe.
Might be.
I think it was. I think it was. It is a werebat goblin.
Is there more?
I don't think no, not these ones. These ones aren't.
I don't think there are any movable chains in this bundle specifically.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Movable chains is something we are experimenting with. We're not gonna be able to do them every time, and they're not gonna be the best choice for every model. But whenever we do have the chance to do them, we're gonna try. They're like fun. They are really really interesting aspect for sculpts.
And there are some coming pretty soon
Yeah,
with some
yeah.
bundles. Just to give a spoiler over
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, this here is the werebat goblin. We have done a lot of were creatures in the past, and here's a werebat, and specifically a werebat goblin. And I think the lore for this one, I think Lucas Gribel or lore master really outdid himself with this one. It doesn't really matter how it happened. Was it a curse? Was a goblin bit by a giant like ravenous bat? Or was a bat bitten by a giant ravenous goblin or something like that? It doesn't really matter. They are just creepy and weird. And goblins do have they do have a relationship with some creepy animals or some beasts of the night, right? They treat what is the I think the correlation is like dogs are to humans as rats are to goblins, giant rats. And then they use goblins who will use wolves like we use horses. And they will use something like bats, like a fantasy human would use something like a griffin or something, or a giant eagle, like something really, really regal, right?
We'll get to something like that in this
Yeah,
bundle
we will
also.
get to something like that in just a minute. But yeah, this is a really, really disgusting little creature. You do not want to get bit by one of these. Or maybe you do. Like, being a were creature in 5th edition D&D has basically no downsides.
But I think the lore for this one specifies that it's not anybody who's going to become a werebat goblin. It's just goblins.
It's just goblins. Yeah, but if you're playing a goblin character, maybe you can get away with it. Yeah.
It won't be very practical with the arms, actually. But
yeah, the concept art for this one was done by Cleidiane Fernandes, and the sculpt was done by Michel Rodrigues. So yeah, let's take a look at the sculpt. I really, really like the leathery skin, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it from that angle, but the wings are actually like fairly strong and thick. But if you shine a light behind them, you can still kind of see through it, which I think is like really, really nice. So have fun with that idea. Stop making me laugh, people. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna stay here for too long because we still have a lot to go through. But yeah, we have a couple more characters to get through. So first off, let's take a look at the Goblin Bat Rider. And I think the concept art, we didn't have the version of the concept art where the bat rider is actually riding the bat. But we do have just these two characters, right? We have the Goblin Bat Rider, and we have the Bat, and we have the Goblin Bat Rider in two positions. She can be either the standalone character, as we have in the concept art there, or she can be riding the giant bat. The concept art for both of these characters was done by Beto Lima. But the Goblin Bat Rider itself was sculpted by Douglas Martins, and the giant bat was sculpted by Danilo Chagas. So let's take a look first at the Goblin Bat Rider in its standalone version, and this could be just like a really cool Goblin warrior or ranger of some kind. Like this guy is just throwing lances or javelins. With this, I think these would be javelins and not lances.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
This is kind of the goblin you want to print like 20 of them and make like a little horde because they're that kind of enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take these plus the Goblin Archers, plus we did have into our Goblin Trouble bundle, which, by the way, Goblin Trouble, our first bundle, and another Goblin bundle if you need any more goblins. It's on sale right now, so has the best price it's gonna have for some time. It's the best price that it has had in some months. So definitely check out the Goblin Trouble bundle. It's available as an old loot. If you don't have it yet, this is your chance to get it. So yeah, another amazing warrior. But if we could take a look at the bat riding version, and this is one of those that, like, we knew that if we did a Goblin bat rider, we would have to do the giant bat by itself, because whenever we do an animal, you guys always ask us to do the animal by itself. So that's what we did basically. I think this one, especially when you're looking, and we're gonna transition into it in a minute. We're just adjusting the camera here, and now, yeah, this one, it's amazing, especially when you look him like face on. Like the flying illusion like really works for this mini. It's a huge bat with huge like leathery and beat down wings. It has probably taken a beating from the goblins themselves or from the goblin enemies. But it's just such a cool sculpt. Like, just amazing, this one. And we have done a dire bat before, so that's why we call this one a giant bat. You know, it's not quite the same. It's a little bit of a different style. And yeah, it actually looks a lot like this bat is big enough that it could actually, like the 75mm. It's basically 1-to-1, right? It's basically real bat sized.
Kind of. Yeah. Works as a really interesting enemy as well. Like to throw at your low level party like a flying enemy with javelins like that.
Yeah. Yeah, if they don't have a way to bring this thing down, or they don't have a lot of ranged attack options, yeah, they're just gonna have to bunker down until or maybe they can do something fun like use thunder damage to make the bat go basically blind, right? Because I think almost all bats have like echolocation, and they have they have that specific type of they have blind sense, and they have echolocation, which means they are blind while deafened. So it's a great way to bring one of these down. So yeah, I guess that's it for the characters, but we still have a couple of things to go through over here. So let's try to get through them. So first off, we have the prop for this bundle, which is the Did we go for the name? The Crown
Yeah,
of the
Crown
Tyrant?
of the Tyrant. Yes.
Yes. So this is a crown that was probably scavenged by the Goblin King. It's not necessarily like a Goblin crown, and it has some power that has helped him take over the tribe. We do have a magic item set block for it, right?
Yeah.
And-
I don't think it has been released quite yet, but it will be for this bundle. I don't think the PDF is ready for this magic item specifically.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
yeah.
yeah.
But it's gonna be coming out like very soon.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically done, and like the crown itself. Like, don't take it from me because like it doesn't fit my head, but I have a ginormic head, right? So it kind of fits, it kind of doesn't, but my head it shouldn't be taken into account. But like this, it kind of fits, you know. It's as a DM, I like this. I approve of this.
Yeah, if you want to make it like really nice, add some padding on the inside right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wear that in your sessions.
And I believe the crystals that go around the gems that go around it are like separate prints, so you can print them in like translucent resin, and,
Which is what we did with this one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just a really cool prop that relates to the bundle and a really cool magic item. We hope you guys like this one. Can we just give a close up of the crown? I don't know if we're gonna need to. No, it's actually like a really cool crown. It's probably the crown of like a great ancient kingdom that the goblins just scavenged.
Feels very much like a dwarvish crown, like
Yeah,
sculpted in
maybe
stone.
yeah. Maybe the goblins just found it on the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Have these translucent rebuilt.
Yeah. The gems are separate prints, and you can place them later. You can print them as separate pieces. And the crown, the concept art for the crown was done by Beto Lima, and the sculpt for the crown was done by Wende Ferreira.
A good adventure concept for this crown would be like printing it without the gems and having the players like find them and add abilities to it would be kind of a fun game to do.
Yeah, and there. Okay, so let's move on to our next piece of business. And I think let's check out the Goblin chest and the brazier. Both of them had the concept done by Viviane Souza, and the sculpt was they are here. Both of the Goblin chest and the Goblin brazier had the concept done by Viviane Souza and the sculpt done by Will Andrade. And they are like really small items, but they are we kind of focused on more modular terrains and some bigger pieces in this model. But you know, we always try to do a cool chest and a couple of like useful scatter terrain. So that's what we did for this one. Yeah, let's show off the.
And I think for the brazier, actually, we already have some space inside if you want to add LEDs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the brazier does have like some space inside. It is kind of cylindrical, and if you want to print it, is the flames a separate thing or no? Oh, yeah, but you can print the brazier in like translucent resin. Then you just paint the stand and you put the LED inside, and it would work as an actual little illuminating
We are
point.
editing this model and try to do video.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of you guys have been asking once in a while. We do videos with a couple of our objects or our props with LEDs, and people have been asking for tutorial videos on this. We have a tutorial video using this particular model coming out soon. So yeah, this is the Goblin chest and the Goblin brazier. So let's move on. Let's see here. Which one should we do next?
Do you want to do the dragon skull? Well,
Yeah,
man-
let's leave that one for last.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's take care of the modular terrain actually. The let's take a look at the walls and the hideout stuff. So we have a couple of modular pieces here, modular walls and
corner walls and
yeah, corner walls, straight walls, curved walls, stuff like that, short, long. These ones, the concept art was done by Victor Rossi, and the sculpt was done by Dave Sombrito. We also have a, let's check here. We also have a hideout door and a hideout entrance. So the hideout door, both the hideout door and the hideout entrance, the concept was done by Victor Rossi as well. The sculpt for the hideout door was done by Wenda Ferreira, and the sculpt for the hideout entrance was done by Eduardo Lobo. And like this is like modular terrain. It's fairly simple modular terrain, but it's very useful. You can get like labyrinthine with this very fast. Just print a bunch of these pieces and you're gonna be able to do a lot with them, right? We had them here for a minute, and if you, we actually took care to make sure that you can actually fit a couple of 32 millimeters inside on top of the walls.
I'm gonna get some goblin ones as well. Hold up.
Yeah, the door can actually open. It's like really cool and versatile terrain, right? You don't need to use it for goblins. You can use it for whatever you want to. But it's just so cool. We do have a couple of other pieces here. Right there on where the goblin archer is, there's actually a wooden structure with concept art by Mariana Livrais and sculpt by Dave Sombrito. Which can really fit into either the hideout entrance or in one of the stone stuff that we have later. It's just like a little scattered terrain piece that really complements things, where you can put like an archer or a javelin thrower or something, and make sure the goblins can harry your players. And then we have stuff like what we have right here on the table, the stone path stuff. So we have a couple of different rocks, basically. The concepts again by Mariana Livrais and sculpted by Dave Sombrito. And actually, can we try to show them on the table here? I think let's see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, let's try to move these walls out of the way here. We're just trying to... We're just moving the camera around, folks. This? Oh, okay. Okay, so we're already showing, sorry. So yeah, we have here a couple of different stone paths that and you can even combine those with the modular walls, right? To make like a really labyrinthine terrain. Or you can combine it with a map like we have here to just showcase the elevations on the map and kind of make it the terrain really three-dimensional. Give your dungeon a couple of different levels. Another thing that we have here is the, what do we call it? The wooden bridge, the old wood bridge. concept by Mariana Livrais, and the sculpt by Will Andrade. And there's another bridge that you can use to connect these different pieces and really make like this really. If you print a lot of them, you're gonna have a lot of options for a goblin hideout, right? So yeah, we're not gonna focus too much on these because there's a lot of pieces. We don't have that much time, but the more you print of these, the more options you have. There is a standout piece that we really want to focus on, which is going to be the Dragon Skull Manor, which is kind of big. It's this piece right here. We're gonna give you guys a close-up in just a second. It's really, really cool. Let's showcase it here. Yeah, it's here for now. We're gonna hand it off to our team so you guys can see it. So we have been taking care to try to do a couple more whenever we do terrain now, to make sure that the terrain is usable in a game. And I think this piece, it's like perfect for a diorama, and it's just so great. Can we actually put some goblins on top of that? Some 32 mil goblins. And just a reminder, folks, that is a 32 mil scale model, right?
It's a full hideout, pretty much.
Yeah. And just before I forget, the concept art for the Dragon Skull Manor, which is was done by Catatal, and the sculpt was done by Wender Ferreira.
Just to spark a little bit of creativity with it, like just take a look at the size of that dragon head.
Yeah, it's a dragon skull. It's like a little goblin hideout built around a gigantic dragon skull. And it is really gigantic. Just for comparison, this, and I'm gonna hand it off to our team now. This is the head of one of our adult dragons in 32 millimeters. And when compared to the skull of the giant dragon, you can imagine the size of the original dragon. This is like some sort of primordial dragon, right? It's just so huge. Yeah, it would have to be like some sort of dragon god or
great worm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great worm plus maybe.
pretty much.
Maybe come from
Yeah, maybe it came from it came from a portal from a different dimension or something. It was definitely enormous, gigantic, colossal, maybe.
Or just a monster that was just a dragon head. Like a walking dragon.
Yeah, like all the like a real small body,
Yeah.
like a pseudo dragon body, and then this gigantic head.
Yes, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think this is it for this bundle. We still have a couple of things to go through. Okay. Oh yeah, let's bring Márcia out here, and let's let Márcia join us real quick. We have a little chair here for her. So Márcia, if you could join us for a bit before we end the live stream. We will have a Q&A section, but before that, we have a couple of announcements. So first off, as I said before, our Goblin Trouble bundle is on sale right now. Go pick it up if you don't have it yet. It's a great bundle. It was our first one. It is very nostalgic for us.
The sale lasts until the end of the month.
It's a sale lasts until the end of the month, until
Okay.
we change to our next bundle, which we're going to announce the name of in just a little bit. So stay tuned for the name of the last bundle. Márcia is coming into the room right now. I think the headphone got stuck in her hair. We're trying to figure it out now. I'm so sorry, Márcia. Let's try to see. There we go. There we
Okay.
go. You're okay. You're good. You're good. Yeah, and here's the let's get rid of this. Okay, next order of business. Márcia, if you I don't know if you want to get a little bit closer just so you don't have to like scoot like that. Márcia is not this small, she's just sitting in a lower chair. Okay, so next order of business. Let's talk a little bit about the second 12-month loyalty reward. Can you hand it over to our team there? Thank you. Unfortunately, as you all know, the new 12-month loyalty reward got delayed. There's a couple of reasons why it got delayed. And the first one of them, we have to admit, was a little bit of a miscalculation in our part. It was a very, very ambitious project for a loyalty reward, because if you've seen the concept art for it, it's basically 2 characters, right? And it's 2 like very big and complex characters. So it's the Dark Rider. Another complication that we unfortunately had was that the artist working on the new loyalty reward unfortunately got COVID, and he couldn't work on it for quite a while. We are working on it, and we will be updating you guys with as much information as we have. And don't worry, if you had the bundles to qualify for the loyalty reward, you will get it. It doesn't matter if you cancel now or something, you will still get. If you had the bundles, I believe every bundle from what was it? I think was It's Another Trap and to City of Portals or something. I think it was. We will explain it better in a community post or something. You will still get the loyalty reward, so don't worry. But we do have a couple of things to show you today. The first off is the work in progress, the whip of the loyalty reward. It is not done yet. There we go. It is not done yet, but we want to show you guys how it's turning out. The character is still like missing its arms and legs, basically the rider, but the horse is basically done, and a lot of the detail work it's done. So yeah, we're just adjusting things here. I think we can show it like full screen if we can. Yeah, let's try it here. Okay. So yeah, this is the work in progress. This is the whip for the loyalty reward. The horse is like a kind of like an undead spectral horse. So we're trying to give it like that negative space, kind of limbs floating around feel to it. Don't worry, the character is still not done. He's gonna have more than that. It's not gonna be just the upper skeleton. He's gonna have arms and legs and everything. But yeah, a really amazing character that we are working on, and we hope you can be patient with us for just a little bit longer while we get this done. However, we have prepared something for you guys, something that is going to be available today, and it's a reward for our go to the not this one, this, and it's yeah, this is it. This is the Lucamus mask. It's this mask that I have here. Basically, the Lucamus mask is the mask that is worn by our 12-month loyalty reward, the original one, Lucamus, the Lord of the Dead. and people had asked for it for a while. Alvaro did it as a side project, and we decided to do it as an extra reward. And it's going to be available for everyone who owns either the Nightmares of the Abyss bundle or the War for Humanity bundle, or June bundles, because June was Loot's 2-year anniversary. So this is going to be available today. Just check out those bundles after the live stream. It probably take like maybe 20 minutes from now. It's going to be available. Okay, so it's another like amazing prop. The actual mask that we have ready for you guys is a little bit bigger than this one. It fits we made it so it fits your face a little bit better. This Lutimus has a very as a zombie man, has a very narrow face. He doesn't have any cheeks, right? So yeah, this is an extra reward that we have for you guys. Next up, let's show you guys a little bit of just to clean a little bit of business. We do have the magazine for this bundle. It was a very fun one to do. It has a very irreverent tone, and it has everything that you need to run an adventure. It has the lore for this bundle. It has the stat blocks. It has the history of the characters. It just has a lot on it. Another thing that we're probably gonna upload to it is the stat block for the item. It's going to be added later. Another thing that we also have available is the painting guide for this bundle. So just a second while we get ready to show it.
Just the heroes.
Yeah, this time for the painting guide is just the heroes, but for the can you show the actual image there? I think we're gonna need to zoom out a little bit, Lucas. Just a second, guys, while we get ready. We adjust things here. So this time it was just the heroes, because the rest of the Goblin characters, the 32 mil characters, are going to be coming out in the video right later this month. Probably next week, from what people told me. So yeah, don't worry, there's going to be a video tutorial for the rest of the characters, basically. Is that it for the cleanup now? I think it is.
The general announcements, yeah.
Yeah, for the general announcements, it is. And okay, so before we get into the Q&A section, I have the name of the next bundle to announce. Do we have anything else to say? Oh yeah, let's show a close-up of what Márcia has been working on all day. Yeah, it gives me a little bit of this character gives me a little bit of the like classic Green Goblin or Hobgoblin vibe from Spider-Man. Yeah, it's just so cool. Just absolutely amazing. And okay, before we get to the Q&A, let's review the name of the next bundle. And a lot of you guys are gonna guess immediately what the next bundle is about. But we are not going to confirm or deny anything until the concept art comes out. So the name of the next bundle is Eye of the Watcher. Again, Eye of the Watcher. It's pretty easy to figure it out, guys. We're not gonna give any tips or anything. So yeah, let's get to the Q&A section. There's yeah, people are saying great work, Márcia. The fabric looks great. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, I'm also gonna go back into the chat a little bit to see if there were any questions that were left unanswered. I am looking at chat now, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna keep a poker face on. Let's see here. If you guys could, if you could help me out, Luca, and go to see if there's.
Yeah, the chat. Looking here.
If you guys have any questions or suggestions,
Also, for small printer.
yeah, like I think everything in this bundle, it would fit in smaller printers. We use the Sonic Mini 4K, including the objects. They are divided into enough parts that they can be printed into smaller printers. The only exception that we have for this rule here at Loot is like the statue versions of our loyalty rewards, or the statue versions of some of the rewards that we do. Everything else can be printed into something like an Anycubic Mono or Sonic Mini 4K. Let's see here. Here is the Eye of the Watcher. Yes, absolutely, David Jacobson. Some class-specific coins to use for inspiration, like hand the coin character. Yeah. So Danielle Edvalson, I really like to see some class-specific coins to use for inspiration. What are the chances we see something like that? I think something like that would be like a really cool prop to do. We may even do it like an extra prop in some model. It's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna write it down for the next couple of meetings. Unfortunately, we do plan our bundles like months and months in advance, so it may be hard to fit in one of the bundles that is already underway, but I'm gonna try to fit it into the next one. Monster. Ferocious Spico, have you ever thought of doing a contest where a subscriber could help design a hero or monster? We have actually done one of those. It was the community hero contest, and the hero that won the contest was a Mammoth Folk Necromancer by you Greattusk. It's available in the Bird Tomb bundle. But something that I can, it was a very, very successful endeavor that we did. It does take a little bit of planning, but a little bit of a spoiler for you guys. Community Hero is coming back. So look out for community posts. We're gonna put out the rules in the community and all the dates and everything. And get your brains working and get your ideas for characters ready, because the community hero contest is coming back. Let's see here, what else?
That one gaming is asking, when is the next loyalty reward supposed to be released?
Okay, so as we said, the 12-month loyalty reward got delayed, unfortunately. I'm not sure of the specific date that is going to be released. It's going to be released this month, and I think the next one after that, like the third 3 months loyalty reward, should be released in September. I think beginning of September. I think that's the correct date. We are already working on it. We have another artist, other sets of artists working on it. So the delay in the 12-month loyalty reward is not going to delay the next one. Let's see here. Marcos Chavez is saying, I want some more dragons and I really appreciate your work. Thank you so much, Marcos. I also want more dragons. But whenever we do dragons, we like to give a spotlight to them. I think it works a little bit better. And to do like huge dragons like we did for Panshaw Under Siege, we need to find the right bundle, right? Maybe a huge dragon wouldn't fit as nicely in something like Goblin Mines. but there are some models coming later this year where we might be able to fit a dragon. We're still discussing, like, we have a pretty good idea for some of those models of what the most of the minis are going to be, but we're still kind of deciding what the like big thing of the bundle is going to be. So it may be a dragon, it may be something else. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Well, hero. Danielle Volson is saying, "What is the community hero contest?" So basically, we're gonna post all the explanation and all of the rules into community. But basically, we put out a call for hero ideas and character ideas. Basically, we look at all of them. We select like 5 heroes that we would be interested in doing, right? Because it kind of has to be interesting for us as well. And then take those 5 and we put it out to a community vote. After that, we do like the whole character creation process, concept art, and like we do the discussion, concept art, and then it goes to sculpting, and then it gets released as a hero, as a character in one of the bundles.
Are you getting a paladin hero?
We have a lot of paladin heroes, and I'm all for paladins. I'm kind of like a paladin groupie here at Loot. I like to play paladins. So yeah, like don't worry, paladins are very, very popular as hero characters, and we're gonna keep doing them. Marco,
It's not a paladin hero. Tiago paladin.
oh, Tiago paladin hero. Yeah, that one. I'm like, I'm gathering influence here at Loot. I'm gathering favors, and we're gonna get one eventually. But I want to do like something big. I don't want to just do a Tiago paladin hero. I want to go for broke, right? I want a Tiago paladin loyalty reward. So you know, I want to take a statue of myself home because I'm not even a little bit narcissistic. So eventually we're gonna get there. Don't worry. I'm bothering people a lot of that idea.
David Jackson.
Yeah, is the community mainly on Facebook, or do you guys have a Discord or something?
We have a Discord as well. If you go to our website, you can find the link for the Discord there. Just go to our website, log in, and when you go to a page like My Loots or something, right at the top, you're gonna see a community tab. You click there, and you're gonna have the links for both our Facebook group and our Discord group. You should also have received, when you subscribed, an email with the links for the Discord group. So check that out. The community is very active there. I'm also like, I would like to be more active on the Discord. Unfortunately, I can't. I have a lot of stuff to do. But whenever I can, whenever I have some time, I check out the Discord. And if there's a question for me there, I try to answer. And the same is true for a lot of people here at Loot. Antonio is asking, you did a Goobertown Hobbies model. How about Tiago, Márcia, and Luca heroes? I think there's weren't you going to be an elf, Márcia, at some point?
I
Yeah, I think Alvaro actually has like Márcia's head sculpted already. So that is not that far away. Like that is coming at some point. The second most. It's someone is saying about the ability to let's see here. Ferocial Spickle. One of the things I really enjoy about the sci-fi bundles is the ability to swap heads. Have you thought about doing that for fantasy as well? We have. Unfortunately, as a lot of the things we do, the swappable heads were an experiment. We didn't know if it was going to work or how people were going to like it. It worked, and people really, really liked it. But we do plan a lot of our bundles like months ahead. So The next couple of bundles, fantasy bundles, are probably not going to have like a lot of swappable heads or anything like that. But it is in the plans to do that whenever we can. It's also a little bit harder to do for fantasy because for sci-fi you can have like a troop of soldiers and they have fairly similar armor, at least like around the neck or something. So it's easier to do to hide the scenes, let's say. For fantasy, it's a little bit more difficult, right? There's people wearing full armor, there's people wearing like cloth and cloaks, so it's a little bit it's a little bit trickier to do. But since it worked once, we're probably gonna do it again in the future, and we will do it for fantasy as well. There's a lot of questions today.
Yeah. Any circus team coming up in the future for bundles, for circles or carnivals?
I don't think we have that particular team planned or anything. There's the possibility of us doing something like that. It just hasn't come up yet. Like there's a lot of ideas in our idea bank, and a couple of ones just kind of took priority, and we kind of plan things out in like we decide on the teams on like 12-month stretches, something like that, and we just haven't been able to fit a carnival team into that yet. There's a lot of teams that people have been asking for a long time, and if we did a carnival team before those, I'm sure people would be kind of mad at us. So we're trying to do kind of the more popular and requested teams first.
We need to or carnival.
Huh?
We need to wait till our carnival.
Yeah. That's right. Any plans for more vehicles in fantasy like sci-fi has? I will say this, and I will leave it at that. Wink, wink. There are more plans to more vehicles in fantasy like in sci-fi. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's not say anything else about it. Let's just let the community speculate about it. Yeah. It's a lot of questions today. I'm sorry, guys. We've been at this for a while already. Let's see here. I'm gonna go back and do a couple more questions, and then I think we can end the live stream for today. Let's see here. Marcus Chavez is saying a dragon can be a loyalty reward too. For the loyalty rewards, we are mostly focusing on medium-sized creatures, just because we really want to make sure that we can have a statue version of the mini, and the statue version of a dragon would be way too big, right? So we were trying to focus on medium-sized creatures. With the next 12-month loyalty reward, the Dark Rider, we have a large-size horse, and that is taking a little bit of time to get done, and is going to be big enough, I think. Any news on possible loot dice? Yes, I think Chris Hopkinson is asking. Loot dice are a very real possibility. We actually did a. Someone tried to throw me some dice and it didn't work.
Where is it?
Yeah. So we did a couple of like test prints just for fun when we were preparing the dice towers. Yeah, people are like crawling on the floor trying to find the dice. So we did a couple of test prints of dice when we were doing the dice tower, and doing like a set of loot dice isn't the plans. It's going to come at some point in the future whenever we do our next dice tower, probably. But again, the dice towers were an experiment. People really like them, so we are probably going to do them again in the future at some point. But we also don't want to do like a dice tower every bundle, right? So yeah, loot dice will be coming at some point in the future. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. If you guys have any more questions, please join the community and just drop a question down on Discord or make a post on our community group on Facebook, and we'll try to get to it as best as we can. So thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the bundle, or Goblin Mines bundle. There's a lot of things to enjoy in this bundle. And yeah, see you guys next time.
See you.
Thank you.
Buy this bundle for $15, sis. Your money, my miniatures. We trade, right?
Yeah. Buy miniatures from the Goblin King.
Shop now. buy this bundle for $15, sis. Your money, my miniatures. We trade, right?
Blah, blah, blah. Buy miniatures from the Goblin King.
Shop now.